Welcome to Like Mother, Like Murder. I am Rachel.
And I'm Heather.
We bring you the good,
The badass.
and the crime.
This is Like Mother, Like Murder.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Like Mother, Like Murder. I am Rachel, and here on Like Mother, Like Murder, we bring you mom-related true crime content from missing moms, murdered moms, moms who commit the crimes, survivors, and more. And sometimes we work alongside moms or daughters or family members as we put together and bring the cases that we are talking about. And we did that with two moms recently who lost their children to filicide. We shared the cases of Rowan Morey and Alec and Lydia Mater, whose lives were taken suddenly and tragically by the hands of their fathers in a murder-suicide. And when a child's life, a son or a daughter, is taken by the hands of their parent or step-parent, the term for that is filicide. And so we have been talking and sharing and will continue to do so in hopes and efforts to help these two moms who we've worked alongside, but also all of the other parents who have suffered such a loss. It's unfortunate that we continue to see more and more headlines and breaking news articles where this is the cataclysm within it. One filicide case is too many, and yet we are seeing it more and more and more. Both of these mothers that I've referred to, Hope Mater and Brandi Morey Poles, are working to try to make a difference for other families so that they don't have to suffer the loss of their children like they did. In today's episode, Hope and Brandi are on with me, and they get into Rowan, Alec, and Lydia's story a little bit. They talk about the systematic failures and how there were signs, there were red flags, there were plenty of reasons to have had professionals intervene or even just do their jobs to help and protect their kids, which didn't happen. Hope, she shares other filicide cases of those who she has become close with because of the similarities in their stories and becoming a support system for one another. Brandi, she shares with us all about the Rowan Act and how she got an amendment put into place in Michigan to their Amber Alert. And it's a huge deal. And we need to continue to push for that to be something that happens everywhere. And we talk about the three beautiful girls who just lost their lives weeks ago: Peityn, Evelyn, and Olivia Decker. And Hope and Brandi both share a message for their mother, Whitney Decker, and offer their support and help in any way. And then we talk about so much more. So please, you guys, take the time to listen to today's episode. Help share it for others to hear and to get exposed to this conversation with Hope and Brandi, because they are working so hard through their grief to try to make a difference for others in honor and remembrance of their children. So here is my conversation with Hope and Brandi. So the first one was just if you guys could introduce yourself and tell everyone kind of why you're sitting here, what happened, and the reason that we are even sitting here having this conversation.
Okay.
Yeah. My name is Hope Mater. My children, Alec, age 7, Lydia, age 6, were taken from this world via filicide at the hands of their father, Brock Mater, on May 19th, 2024. Filicide is the act of killing your own child. And so I am sitting here to spread awareness and so that I can make change. We were in the middle of a court case, and Brock had diagnosed mental health conditions such as bipolar. However, the judge felt that he was fit enough to have the children unsupervised. I knew that that was a red flag, and so I was very upset with that, but I had to do what the judge asked. So I went along with it, and we co-parented for 7 months until May 19th, 2024, when unfortunately he took Alec's life, Lydia's life, and his own.
Brandi, what about you?
I'm Brandi Morey Bowles. I'm Rowan Morey's mother. And well, we don't have an actual date because the state won't give us one. Anywhere from August 19th to the 21st of 2024, my son Rowan, his life was taken. And then his biological father, Michael Winchell, took his own life. We were also in the middle of a court case, and it was set for September 5th, where we were going for full custody, where it would have been lucky if he would have gotten supervised visits. It was so bad. And he had been a drug user. He had no license, no job. He had mental health issues, and none of it was listened to. And the judge denied an emergency motion to go find my son because they wouldn't issue an Amber Alert. So we all spent 52 hours in utter just fear and pain and just bawling and just wondering where he was. And he killed him. So that's my son.
Yeah. So one of the things that is the same or very similar in both of your guys' cases is you were both going through some sort of, court case or
Yes.
situation with custody or with that. And so what went wrong or how were you guys failed? What could you talk about when it comes to the failure systematically through the court?
First,
CPS,
Brandi.
the judges, the FOC, everything needs to be dismantled and started all over again. That judge wouldn't approve an emergency motion the second day Rowan was missing. He denied it. Why do I need his signature again for a custody order he signed in 2020? Why do I got to ask him to stick to his words that he has to sign also to get Rowan home at the time he's supposed to be there? And then the sheriff's department, Isabella County Sheriff's, oh my gosh, the footage that we have of how badly they're speaking of me. They called me the crazy one. Uh, they haven't released all the footage because I'm sure it's even worse. CPS, I called because Mike Winchell would shave my son's head bald when I had a big family event coming. And he did that 5 times total. And he was only 6. So he was always, he would just shave him to the scalp. And Rowan would just stand in the mirror and looking at himself and say, "Mom, I'm funny." And I'm like, "Baby, you're beautiful. You got a lot more face." Just trying to work with him and keep him in a spirit going through that. I put him in counseling. I mean, court mandated reporters, the amount of court mandated reporters in my child's life, several. The teachers, the principal, the CPS worker, everyone around him, you're all mandated. And no one reported anything. The saddest part to me is when his principal and 2 teachers he had showed up at his funeral. And after all the turmoil that I went through at that school because of Mike, I walked up to him and I asked him, I go, "Did you guys know it wasn't me?" And like, "Oh yeah, we knew." Then where were you?
Yeah.
Where were you? You're mandated. My kid's showing up bald. He's reporting that he's not being fed at dad. He's only host. Dad sleeps all day. Well, to you people, because it was to me. And then Rowan started self-harming just before he passed away. And I got him into a new counselor at a Christian counseling center. And it just wasn't enough time. Like, he was so tight-lipped, he would never speak about dad's place, but was very open about ours. He would say that we had a 4-story house because of the roof, and he loved his home here, he loved life. He deserved it.
I think him not talking about dad's house should be a sign for someone who's working in a therapy session anyways, right? Because there's a reason that you're not bringing stuff up.
Well, and the CPS worker on the case, she, she she came to my house first, then she went up to Mike's twice. He wouldn't open the door. So then probably a week later, she called several times. He only answered and told her, he goes, I demand to know what the allegations are. House is dirty. He doesn't eat. He's shaving his head, all these things. So, of course, when she gets there, the house is immaculate. She even said to me, she goes, it was so clean I could smell the bleach. Well, obviously, he had just done it. And then about his haircut, she said, well, there's not much I can do about that. That's him taking care of his hygiene on his own time. And I looked dead in her face, said, if he was a little girl, you wouldn't say that. It's such crap. Men are coming up with more and more unique ways to use our children to hurt us because they want to get back at us. And that's the ultimate vengeance that they can do, is hurt our children. And then, in Hope and I's case, take them.
Yeah.
Must.
I think that's a commonality between many of the cases, is that
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be about the children whatsoever. And in most cases, it's not. It's a retaliation or a hatred, pure hatred for, the
Yeah.
mother or the father in certain cases too. And so
They were just vessels to be used to hurt us.
right.
Yep.
And there's nothing out there to help. There should be a better way to look into this and go, okay, she's not crazy. She's the mother that those children came from her body. She knows them better than anything. And when we see their personalities changing and their behaviors changing, self-harming, all these things, we know best. We're not crazy. We're scared to death because we know what's going to happen, and we were right. And it's just disgusting. On every level, Rowan was failed. And I think the one thing that made me feel really good about my speech at the Michigan Capitol was Senator Angela Regas, or Representative, sorry, Angela Regas at the end. She said something I haven't heard this whole time, and I'm telling you, it was amazing, and it helped me a lot. She said that I was the only person that didn't fail my son.
Yeah, and then I cried for the next 45
Yeah, I know,
minutes.
right?
I have full body chills right here too.
I
I
know.
think
She's
is
amazing.
an amazing person.
At this day, and she's gorgeous.
I hope I know, a lot of that is similar and in some ways different to what you went through. But
Yeah.
you were failed in ways as well.
Yes, definitely failed. I was not listened to. Even having a great attorney, we were not listened to. Even having proof, like his diagnosis of bipolar, him being hospitalized for 9 days in a psychiatric ward,
My goodness.
him having all of these thoughts, going through a mental break and having thoughts that he never had before. He was never off the deep end before. He was talking about demons and cults, and he thought that myself and our church were the church of Satan. And like these are things that like he never had before. And so it was very scary to me because he obviously was not in his right mind. He couldn't string a sentence together the day of him taking the kids out of school without me knowing and taking them to that hotel. He left me voicemails and he can't even string a coherent sentence together. He's trying, but he's so far gone that he can't. It's not registering. And so in my case, it is truly yes, I know that there was anger there and that there was resentment for what I did for leaving him and for breaking up our marriage. But for him, it was truly mental health to
Yeah.
its core, to its
Yeah.
core.
Yeah.
And because he was not on any substances, he was not, um, harmful to the children before that point. And so we were failed though, even though we had all of that evidence to say he is not in his right mind. I would like supervised visits. And this is why they still didn't listen. And so they gave him, temporary 50-50 custody for
Uh,
me and for him until we were supposed to have our final hearing. But we never got to that point. And Alec and Lydia, they loved their dad. They did talk about Brock's house. They talked about going there and swimming in the pool. And I guess Brock bought her like this pink and white tent for her birthday where she could like go in the tent in her room and like read books and play with her stuffed animals. So she'd always talk about that. And so like he was trying, and I think that he just couldn't try anymore. Like it was just the disease, the sickness of the mental health got too strong. Like I said in my post for their 1 year anniversary, the 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 evils and darkness of this world just became too strong and he couldn't fight it anymore. And so I fully believe that that he was sick. And yes, he was abusive to me and he did all those harmful things to me. But I think all of that stems from his sickness and not getting help and seeking help when he needed. So, and unfortunately, with a lot of my stories that I'll share today of my other friend that I'm going to share her story, it's the same thing of of mental health issues and and stuff like that. And I know that in Washington, Whitney
oh,
with Travis went through the same thing, diagnosed, multi-personality disorder and mental health issues and
PTSD also, I believe.
PTSD. Yes. So, he was a veteran, and we need to not only, help our children in our family court system, but we need to help these parents, right? That's the core. We need to listen to these parents because, you know, I believe I read in Whitney's case, Travis did try to seek help from the
Yeah.
veterans
Yep.
um people, and they wouldn't listen. And that's the same thing that Brock did, and unfortunately, because these people with mental health issues are adults, they are treated like adults with mental health issues, and they are not given extra support like I feel like they should, especially going through a family court case. Brock should have had somebody checking in on him and making sure that he was, taking his meds and refilling his meds and doing all of these things. But unfortunately, you're an adult, so you're treated like an adult, even though you're sick.
What
Like
is,
So
when an adult goes to the doctor and has a surgery, right? A something physically happens, you have to have a follow-up. A follow-up maybe 2 weeks later, and then you have another follow-up to make sure everything's okay 6 months later. It should
correct.
be the same in any sort of mental health, any health situation whatsoever,
And
if
it's
not
not
more so. If
correct.
you're not taking care of your mental health, you can't take care of anything else. And so the fact that and how you're bringing it up in the military and everywhere is not taken seriously. People aren't trained in the right,
No.
they're not trained in, almost said in the right areas, but some of them not at all when it comes
Yeah.
to what to look for, the signs, how to
Yeah.
care, how to treat, all of those things.
there's so many things about Hope and I's case, but caught me on our last conversation that just blew my mind. And Mike was prescribed Vicodin, Norco, morphine, and fentanyl. No person on this planet should have any visitations with a child on that kind of crap.
Correct.
Like, and we're finding out who did it, and we're coming after everyone. They will, they'll pay. Because to me, whoever the doctor is, and we've got a pretty good idea who it is, because he's already lawyering up. he's an accessory to murder to me. Absolutely.
Yeah. You definitely should go after them,
Oh,
you know.
we are.
I tried, you know, in our case, I talked to many attorneys, and unfortunately, with the information that I gave them, which was everything, they couldn't build a strong enough case to move it forward.
Well, and we ran into that too, and it was really difficult until we found the right one, and it took a long time, but I mean, we kept pursuing and pursuing. I mean, I got referred to like, some of the biggest names in Michigan, and they're like, "Oh no, touch it, because it's homicide," and they're like, "Oh, But then we got the right attorney, and he's like, "Holy crap, this is going to go national." I'm like, "Good, save more kids. Let's do this." Get
Mhm.
get all of our kids' names out there to save children. I just
Yeah,
it needs to go faster because
yeah, it
for
does.
Peityn, Evelyn, and Olivia, oh,
Yeah,
I can't. She lost all
yeah,
of them. God, I pray for her.
I know I just recently shared that clip because that's one of the things that from our last conversation I continue to think about, Brandi, when you were telling Hope that you kept thinking about how it couldn't get any worse. It couldn't get any worse. And then you bring up Hope and how she lost both of hers. And now we're sitting here with Whitney Decker's story and she lost all three of them.
All
And
three.
so, I mean, they're your
yeah.
babies. So 1, 2, 3, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't
It
matter how
matters,
many there
but
are.
the number, it's your babies and they're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
her whole life is flipped upside down now. She
Right.
doesn't,
Yeah.
she, coming from that perspective, right? Coming from, not being married, not having any other children, I had to learn what my purpose was in life. And I think, Brandi, I think that would be a great podcast for us to do of like what we can do to help Whitney. And because she
Yes.
has her whole world flipped upside down and she doesn't know what side is right now. Like, so
Hope and I, after this happened, I didn't know what I was anymore. Like, who am I? Like, your whole identity is different. I'm not
yeah,
Rowan's mom anymore, not
yeah.
physically, but
I'm not
my-
Alec and Lydia's mom anymore, not physically. I guess I'm their mom, and I love that people still showered me with flowers and such for Mother's Day. And thank you so much to Rachel and Heather for the
oh
beautiful
my gosh, you
flowers.
guys are the best. Thank you.
But I'm not a physical mom anymore because I'm not parenting a child here on this
Right.
earth.
Right.
I will always be their mom. I gave birth to them, but I'm not their mom anymore.
Like all of our plans for them, school
I
shopping,
mean,
going back to
yeah.
school, like
I mean,
practice.
I was already like, okay, Alec and Lydia, when they start driving, like, who's gonna teach them because I can't drive because of my visual impairment. Like, I was like looking far in advance. I mean, right before they passed away, like a few weeks before they were killed, I remember I was sitting at our countertop and they were across from me. And for some reason, we got on this conversation of where they were gonna live when they were older and how many kids they were gonna have and if they were gonna get married. And like they were 6 and 7 and we were having these and I remember Lydia being like, "Yeah, I'm gonna marry my best friend Maddox." Like that was her best friend. It was a boy, and she was like, "I love Maddox." I'm like, "Okay, Lydia, go ahead and whatever." And Alec was like, "I'm not gonna get married to anybody because girls are gross." And like, for 6 and 7 years old, it was like super cute. And I think that God gave me that memory and that time with them for a
Thank
reason.
God.
He knew. But like in the moment, I was like, why am I having this conversation with my 6 and 7-year-old? This is weird. So yeah.
Rowan did the same thing like the week before he passed away. And weirdly, he was obsessed with dying. And my pastor always has told me, he's like, God comes in to kind of protect them. And the week before he passed away, I was laying in bed with him, tucking him in, reading him a story. And he's like, Mom, I'm scared to die. And I'm like, baby, I'm like, you're going to live a big long life. And you're gonna have a big family and a big old you're gonna live till you're old and gray. Kills me. And then I remember saying to somebody, or my husband, right after he passed away, I'm like, he didn't even get a first girlfriend. And my husband started laughing and he's like, are you joking? At Valentine's Day, he had 5 different girlfriends. And then it would change every week. I think
That's
Cora
so
was the
cute.
last one. It was.
That's so cute. I
Well, at
know
least,
it's like their souls knew. Like,
yeah.
I don't
Yep.
know. Like a week before, exactly a week before, Alec and Lydia were killed. I picked up Alec and Lydia from school, and I remember Alec saying, "I'm sorry, Mom," and I'm like, "What are you sorry for, Alec? Like you didn't do anything. I just picked you up." And he's like, "I'm sorry because I got mad at you last time I saw you because you didn't pack my water bottle. You didn't pack my water bottle in my backpack, and I got mad at you, and I didn't give you a hug and a kiss, and I'm so sorry."
Oh my
So,
God.
like, that was like, I didn't bring it up. Like, he did that on his own. That was the first thing out of his mouth the last time, one of the last times I saw him. And then that Friday before he was killed on Sunday, I dropped him off at school, and he was mad again. So he didn't give me a hug or a kiss that day. So I never got a last hug and kiss from him. Lydia gave me her running hug. I will always remember that because she dropped her backpack down like I told you, and she came barreling full force, like it almost knocked me over. So like she always did. The teachers at the before and after school care were like, "Wow, she really likes those running hugs." I'm like, "Yep, she does."
Well,
So
Alec gave you 7 years of hugs. So
yes, he did.
you've got that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's so weird too that I'm gonna be speaking on his 9th heavenly birthday. Like, and he'll
Yeah.
be 9. Like, I don't even know what he would have been being 8. Like, he died when he
Right.
was 7. So it's like
Right.
it's like they're frozen in time, you know?
Yep.
Sorry. Talking about all of those, going back to the failures and what you guys didn't see happen. And now for Hope, it's been over a year. Brandi, it's going to be a year soon. What kind of stuff can you guys either share with people who might be in situations where they're fearful or they're struggling? Like,
Listen to your gut.
Yeah.
Listen to your gut. Don't send your kids. Make that man take you to court and fight.
Yep.
Don't send them.
Yep.
If you're scared, then they're scared. Don't send them. Let them come at you for contempt. They didn't go after Mike. They didn't do anything to him. And he had not returned Rowan several times before this for hours on end. And I was frantic every time. So don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't. That's the only thing I can. The
Really
sad thing is that women need lawyers. And if you're going through a divorce or you're that's a difficult task to do on your own. So kids need their own child advocacy attorney to help through the courts. Criminals get it. If you commit a crime, you get a court-appointed attorney. Why shouldn't a child? I feel like they're more important than criminals.
Agreed.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Hope?
Oh, I was just gonna say, just watch for any, like, listen to your gut, yes, but also watch and take notes and document.
Yeah.
And watch for any sort of strange behavior, not even like massive strange behavior, but like subtle things, right? And try to, if you're in good communication with that parent, try to communicate with them and be like, "Hey, you need to go seek treatment. You need to go get these resources." Because I know a lot of times, like I said, they want to, but they don't know So I definitely think that you need to do that as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
I know we're going to be talking about, and we've talked a little bit, Hope, about you're writing your book, and Brandi, you have been making significant changes too, which we're going to talk about. But before we get into that, Hope, I know you brought some um, cases that you want to talk about and share some stories from people that you call friends now that have also gone through this. It's not,
Yes.
yeah.
So Adrian and Julian were two little boys, ages 11 and 8, from Southern California. Their filicide case happened at home. The husband had always battled depression and exhibited signs of narcissism. He was not on meds and refused to seek treatment for a psychological or a psychiatric evaluation for treatment. Um, for the underlying issues. He grew up in a abusive home himself, and his main theme was was that everyone was against him, out to get him and make him look bad, including me and the children and our family. The boys loved people and participated in several 4-H projects. um Adonica's dad, Adonica is the mom, and herself were both at the home at the time of the filicide. They were outside. They didn't hear the gunshots. They only knew to look in on them because the husband had sent his sister a cryptic text, and she said I should check on them. So they were at the family property when it happened.
And
My other friend Rachel lost her two children, Bree and Luke, also at home. The father struggled with mental health issues, and they were still married at the time. And the father committed suicide in the home with Rachel there. Rachel was standing outside of the kid's bedroom door when he shot and killed Bree and Luke and himself.
I mean,
He did not kill Rachel, and she does not know why.
to make
But
sure
she's
separate.
Well, yes, but again, sometimes they kill the whole families, right? And that's why I'm
Right.
here too, and that's why you're here, Brandi, too, is to speak for those families that don't have a voice, that can't speak anymore because they killed
Exactly.
the whole family.
Yeah.
So and then there is another one out of San Francisco, California. Her name is Leslie Hugh, and she had a little boy. His name was Pierce, and she is now the founder of the Pierce Project. You can go to piercepledge.org to find out more information on Pierce's pledge. Pierce was 9 years old. He was shot and killed by his father in San Francisco in 2021. And now Leslie and her friends are making change for gun control. And they actually um, have the first gun control map in the country. So you can actually take your guns and get them stored properly outside of the home so that they are no longer in the hands of people that can do harm with those weapons. And that map was just launched a few weeks ago.
Amazing.
So those are just a few of the changes that are being made. There's also a platform on social media, specifically Instagram. It's called See Me Children. This is a nonprofit organization that deals with gun violence against children. Gun violence is the largest and biggest factor of child mortality in this country. This specific platform deals with stories of the child's death, but from the point of the child. So she writes each of the posts and includes a picture of them and she'll write it with like, "Hi, my name is Alec. I was 7 years old when I was shot and killed by my father, uh, um, who had mental health issues. Do you see me? Question mark. I
Oh,
was a big brother to Lydia, who also was shot and killed." And so then she goes on, and it's written in the form of the child. So that is seemechildren.com, and it is a nonprofit organization. You can also find her on See Me Children on Instagram.
All of those that you talked about, Hope, I'll get from you, and I'll put in the show notes of the episode too, so that people can click them and find them easily and have that access, so that we can see that. That is quite the perspective, and I think, you know, for someone who doesn't go through this, right? For someone who only is looking into it or reads about it, what a punch in the gut to read from the perspective of the child who is now gone.
that's a good way to put it.
Rather than a news reporter who's just documenting in a certain way, that it just is completely a different way. So I still am. Ooh, oh my gosh.
Did you guys hear about Montrell out of New York? The little boy, the little 2-year-old, his dad threw him in a river.
Yes.
Oh, yes, I did. My friend actually, yes, she just told me about that.
Disgusting. Do we have any statistics on how often it's the father committing filicide? Mother?
Yes.
That
60% of the time, it's the father. When it's the father committing the act of filicide, it is done mostly in a violent act involving a weapon. And usually is the child above the age of 3. The mother commits filicide 40% of the time, and usually it's children under 3. Usually she commits filicide because of mental health issues like postpartum depression, and she commits filicide in the manner of usually drowning. And usually in these cases, they also kill themselves. So it's very rare to find a filicide case with the parent who committed the crime still alive. There are cases like they're trying to find Travis right now in Washington. And there are a few other cases that I know of in other states that the perpetrator is still alive, but usually they also commit suicide after.
Yep.
The Travis Decker, him
Don't.
saying his name is just ridiculous, but
Yeah.
I did see the most recent thing saying that they've had multiple sightings, but that they think that they are closing in on him.
Oh.
I looked into that area, and it's crazy. The name, I'm not even sure if I would say it right, but Okanagan Wenatchee National Forest. I was like, that is quite the name right there. But it's 3.8 million acres. This
Oh
national
my
forest.
gosh.
It's huge,
And
it,
big,
it goes
big
up into
trees,
Canada.
like
Yeah.
yes.
And so
Mhm.
the fact that they're saying and giving updates, and I'm so thankful to see them continuously, putting things out there. And Brandi, you've talked about how big and how vocal they've been about this. But then at the same time, it's like, in any of the cases that get the mainstream and the out there immediately, there's the why not another case, right? And why didn't my child, or I think about, we've talked about a lot of stuff just aside from filicide, but here on Like Mother Like Murder, we cover mom stuff very often, and we've done a lot of missing moms or missing children. And I know so many families who, they look at Gabby Petito, and you always want that sort of coverage. It's nothing against that coverage, right? It's nothing against Whitney Decker's children. It's nothing against that, but it's but what about mine? And why didn't I get the same? And how can we change that so that we all get that kind of coverage and we all get the stories out there? And so
because Brandi and I got that coverage, right? I had people messaging me in New Jersey and in Maryland, like saying, like, I heard about your story. I'm like, you're not in Arizona. Like, so, but again, with these kids like Bree and Luke and Adrian and Julian, they didn't get the coverage. They didn't
No,
get the national headlines.
no.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why we're here, and that's why I'm here, and I have permission from their parents or from their moms to share their stories, and I will continue to share their stories.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you for sharing those too. Before we get into that, I just want to read this. I found it on one of the sites when I was looking up different filicide statistics, which I talked with Hope a little bit before we started recording, at how frustrating it is to me as well, because you can find statistics and you can find articles and you can find so much information on so many things. And I don't know if it's intentional. I don't know if it's on purpose because someone's trying to like not let these cases get seen as much, but finding stuff on filicide has been hard. Even certain Hope, yesterday when you posted the video, right, with saying the children's names,
Yes.
I immediately wrote those names in search bars and tried to search. I couldn't even
Yes.
find the cases. So
Oh.
I'm thankful that you're bringing them here, but it makes me sad to my core to know that it's like,
Yeah.
why not? Why? Like, I don't know. But so one of the things that I was reading, it says that education of the community is an important strategy for prevention. And in my opinion, I would believe you guys would both agree that filicide deaths receive very little publicity, except when there's something else that would, I don't want to say like shock value, or how
Yeah.
there's a manhunt going on, right? But that's the media.
It's the media. It's the
Yes.
media, and it is shock value. It
Right.
is totally shock value. And
So
unfortunately, I don't know if you went through this, Brandi, but when my case happened, there were news outlets that were getting information completely wrong.
Right.
yes.
Like,
Oh, yes.
they were just pulling it out of
Yeah.
the air, and I was like, that's not accurate. Like,
Frustrating too, but that's a part of Rowan's Act. There's two bills being introduced to Michigan House, and another part of it is where social media and the news get it out there as fast as possible. So hopefully that'll help other children.
Yeah. So let's talk about, we need you to tell us everything about Rowan's Act, what you've done, why you've done it, how it's helping, how else we can help, how we can get it into other states, what that might look like, just everything.
So I've been working with Representative Jerry Nyer and Representative Angela Regas here in Michigan. She's our rep for our district here in Grand Rapids, and Nyer is the rep for Pleasant area where Rowan passed away. So I've had meetings with them and gone over, and there's also Representative Luke Meerman that we're all working together. That Rowan's Act is an amendment to the Amber Alert, which hasn't been ended in 25 years since we've had it. And even the night that we went to the sheriff's and just begging for help, they said it's almost impossible to get an Amber Alert. Well, what good alert if it's impossible to get one? It's not. So Rowan's Act is changing that, removing judges, the signature that I had to get the second day that he was missing, removing them and giving it straight to the state police. And social media news outlets can plaster everywhere our child is missing, whether he's a parental kidnapped child or any other child. A missing child, a missing child, whether in any situation or not, he's missing. Make that, and then this will stop. And Rowan's Act is just the beginning of all the changes that we want to make. Like, I want friend of the court reform, eliminate judges and make it a committee where they have it in Sweden and other countries where it's a panel of people that your case comes in front of, not just one inflated head judge, and it will be that panel of people. And then, like I said earlier, I think you commit a crime, you get a court-appointed attorney. Why won't we do that for our children? A court advocate attorney for our kids. Every single kid in every single front of the court situation. Because you know what it's going to do? Lower that caseload and lower the amount of people manipulating our children to hurt the other party. It's just, and there's so many other things. Like I want to work reforming guns. I'm pro gun, but I'm not pro gun where there's a weapon that could murder my son. And Mike was a felon and got it. So we're working on that. CPS, just get them educated, educate FOC and CPS. That girl had no clue what she was doing and looked like she could have cared less. Well, when you're in the position of you're supposed to pick up if a child's being abused and you're not really trying that hard or don't care or whatever your mood is that day, like you got to care about children. I wonder, does she even know that my son passed away? That she was involved? Like, do they even care? So it's a lot ahead of us. We're planning a trip to DC to take this all out there. And I wish it would have just happened sooner before Whitney lost her 3. I just not happening fast enough. And I feel like the courts haven't progressed in 20 some years. Why? Because this has been brought to their attention that this is so huge. And it just blows my mind that it had to take all of us losing our children to get mad enough
Yes.
and
Yeah.
strong enough to do something about it. And the faster I can get it done, the better, because I can't comprehend another missing kid that ends up deceased when nobody's done anything. Oh, it's too hard to get an Amber Alert. Oh, no. No, not okay. If it was their kids, they'd do it.
Right.
And I think too, like we were talking about earlier, just educating the public about filicide. I mean, before this happened to me, none of my family and friends knew what filicide was. There's still family and friends that ask me what filicide is. And so I think that it's really important for our media to talk about filicide
Yes.
using the actual terms. Yes, I understand that media uses the murder suicide. I get that. But we know about suicide and what suicide is and statistics of suicide, and we know about statistics of school shootings and what school shootings are. We need to know about statistics of filicide and what filicide is, and we need to talk about it more and educate people so they can watch their loved ones so that they can prevent it.
And watch for signs. I mean, Hope, I didn't truly know what filicide was even after Rowan passed away. I remember reading or what was it, and you said it, and I had to Google it. I didn't know. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what happened to Rowan.
And
So
that's every single parent that I've talked to, every single mother that I've talked to didn't know what filicide was before it happened. And after it happened, now they know what it is. But we don't want to get to that point. We want to know what it is
No.
ahead of time so that we can prevent it from happening.
We don't want any other mothers having to Google what filicide is. Like
Exactly. Exactly.
any parents.
Right. Exactly. In a study that I was reading, it talks about how vital, Hope, you're talking about the community is in knowing about filicide and being aware. But it shows that in the research, many perpetrators confide in like their intentions to their friends and their family. They bring something up. They mention the fact that they're either struggling and they've had these thoughts or something like that. And I feel like people either dismiss it or think, oh, they're kidding or joking, or they don't take it as seriously as it needs to be. And
Yeah.
if they were aware of these numbers, if they were aware of these children, if they were aware of all of these people who have been going through this for years and years and years, maybe it would make them look at that thing they thought was a joke differently and actually take it seriously. Say,
That's
hey,
right.
I'm sorry, friend, but you need to go get some help. Hey, I'm sorry, my brother, whatever it may be. You need to be looked into. You need to get this help, some sort of intervention to make that change as well.
Yeah.
And then Brandi, just I want to applaud you and commend you on how you have already gotten that to be passed and gotten that out there to make that
So
change. The
quickly.
first step is amazing.
Well, and when this first started, journey through this horrible grief, I knew my purpose was to get change, but I thought it would take years. I'm blown away by how it's coming together. And I just got to use that platform to spread the word of God and save our children. Hope, did Brock reach out to his family and tell them that you had bad thoughts or anything?
Yes. Yes, he did. And you know, that was when he was going through the treatment at first. And unfortunately, like my friend Adonica said, they can mask it, right? They can mask, they can act like they're fine. Like I said, Brock had his psychological evaluation, and in the psychological evaluation, the reporter said, like, I don't think that Brock is being forthcoming. I think he's choosing his words wisely. A lot of like Adonica said, her husband was a narcissist. Brock, I think, deeply was a narcissist. And
Yes.
I don't use that term, just flippantly, because we hear that term all the time in our media now. But I truly medically believe that these men or women that do these acts, especially the violent acts, are narcissists, are medically
Yes.
diagnosable narcissists.
Yes. I know Mike was 100%. And the fact that in the police report, Rowan's report, the sheriffs wrote down, the girls said, the sisters, Mike's sisters, and this is one of the complaints that I called CPS on, saying his house was disgusting. Well, remember, she told him about it, so it was clean. In the police report, the sister said his house was never clean. It was always disgusting. Why weren't they calling CPS? Why weren't they doing something? And then I, I've just had this feeling the whole time that he was very them because Rowan didn't know them. Like one of the sisters helped Mike drop off Rowan one time. He came in and I'm like hugging him. I'm like, hey, buddy, who was driving? He goes, my dad's sister. Like, you mean your aunt? And he's like, yeah. He didn't know her name. So it's great. They know it's dirty. Like,
And I think that family dynamic is huge, right? That dynamic played a
yes,
huge role in Brock too.
yes.
He had a broken home when he was
Well,
raised,
he
and
was
his
abused,
parents
right?
well, his parents were divorced. I don't think he was abused, no. But his parents were divorced, and they struggled, and they went through a really long family court case where he had to go in front of the court and and go on the stand as like a 9-year-old little boy. Like there's a lot of things that, in his case, if he sought the proper treatment even from a little child, it could have made all the difference. And so
So he was very well versed in how the court system happened. So he knew what was coming when you guys were going to court. Oh, interesting.
and he gaslighted me, when I asked for a divorce that morning. He, said, this is in my book, but he said, like, oh no, like, you don't want to get a divorce from me because I'm going to call DCS on you, which is Department of Child Services in Arizona. And I'm going to call the police and say, like, oh, well, you just lost your parents and you're depressed and you haven't been on your medication. Like, he's trying to flip everything on me and gaslight me. And so I finally was like, no, I'm not believing this anymore. You are lying. And so I left, and he still tried to gaslight me the whole way.
So Mike was the same way. So we were in court in front of Judge Eric Janes again, and Judge Janes yelled at me for calling CPS, yelled at me, and then praised Mike because he represented himself. Oh, Mike, you were just such a good lawyer. You were so respectful. He had to, during that, I was on the stand for 2 hours, tell him to stop approaching me because he kept coming up yelling and approaching me. He slammed his hand on the table, but that's respectful. Prayed that man and berated me. Told me that I abused the CPS system. That's for children who really need it. It's just mind blowing how ignorant people are and how we get framed as the crazy mom
Yeah.
in these situations. You know why we're acting out and screaming and yelling at the rooftops to save our kids? Because we know.
Yeah.
We know.
Yeah.
No one knows their child better than her.
Exactly.
You just mentioned your book again, so I want to give you the time for a minute to, tell whatever you want to, share whatever. I know you shared the name. I don't know if that's going to be public or you want that out there yet, but whatever you do want to share about the book, if you can let people know kind of how that's going, how that's been a method of healing and, in your grief as well. So
Yeah.
share
So
more about that.
I'm writing a memoir, and it's going to be about my whole life. It's going to include everything from childhood up until the filicide, and suicide, and continuing forward of what I am doing. I'm going to be sharing information in there. Some of it everyone has heard. It's only going to be published in the book, and it's been very therapeutic. It's been very healing. I've cried, I've screamed, I've went through many, many emotions. But I just feel like this is a part of love that I need to share with the rest of the world. I need to share Alec and Lydia's story. I need to share, about, my parents and their passing, and like just everything that has happened in my life, and letting people know that even though you've gone through such dark times in your life and you have no reason to move forward till tomorrow, that reason is to find that hope in Jesus and to keep going, even if it's looking forward to, the next day or the next week, confiding in a friend, just helping get you past the darkest time. And that's why I am writing the book, to help others. I'm helping people that might be in domestic violence situations. There's information in there that talks about the abuse cycle and what that is, because I had no clue what the abuse cycle, what I didn't even know that there was such a term. And there's literally like a wheel of descriptive things that happen in abuse, and that's why they call it the abuse cycle. And in every single part of that wheel, it's like fitted into like 8 to 10 pieces. um I have went through every single part of abuse in that cycle. And I think that's why, the one comment I've gotten the most is, why didn't you leave sooner? And that's a lot of these mothers that have gone through filicide, who have gone through situations like this, is because it's a cycle, right? And they change. They go from one abuse tactic to another. And so your nervous system, it's like, okay, they're not abusing me in this way, so it's okay for me to stay. Now they're abusing me in this way. And so it's just a vicious cycle. And so, and it's also trauma bonding. Trauma
Yes.
bonding is a huge thing. And there's a deep, deep part of me that loved Brock, but there is a deep, deep part of me that understood that we were trauma bonded.
Yeah.
If you look into trauma bonding and you research it, it's like an addict. You don't want to leave because you want to get that next spout of love, or that next hug, or that next I love you, because it's coming. You just don't know when. And so that's the trauma bond. So
I absolutely hate the why did she stay? Why aren't we asking why is he doing it? Why aren't we asking that?
yeah, because they put it all on me. And honestly, like Whitney, I was so frustrated. I don't know if you saw this, but they put a GoFundMe up for her, and she's made hundreds of thousands of dollars to bury her 3 children, right? She's not going on cruises, she's not traveling to Europe. She's burying her 3 children. And the amount of disrespectful, nasty comments, because she's getting money. Well, of course she's getting money, because she needs to bury her children. And would she take the money back to get her 3 kids back? 100%.
Right.
A
All of
100%.
us. All of
Like,
us.
all of us. I would take everything I have to get Alec and Lydia back. I would take everything
That's
I have to get my parents back. Like, that is what we do, you know? And so it's just so disheartening that people get behind their keyboards online and just spew this nasty hate. And it
well,
needs to stop.
Yes.
Hope you get nastiness just like I do. Right?
Oh, all the time.
I do too.
Oh, all
I
the
get
time.
that I'm the one who killed him. It was my fault.
Yep.
Oh wait,
It was my fault. Why didn't you leave sooner? How can you? I have a different perspective, and there's a lot of. I want to let you know that there are a lot of filicide moms and dads out there that hate the person that did the atrocity. But in my case, I have forgiven Brock, and there are filicide parents that have forgiven their perpetrators for doing what they did. So it's kind of 50-50. But I have put that out there on my social media that I have forgiven Brock, and I fully believe that he is in heaven with Jesus. And the amount of hate that I
wait,
get is ridiculous. How can you say that he's in heaven for doing this and yada, yada, yada? Well, what I believe is not what you
what's
believe,
it?
and that's okay. But this is what I believe to move forward with my life and not have this full hardened heart so that I can't function in the rest of my life. So that's what I choose to believe. And so, yeah, the amount of hatred I get, like literally, like so many mean messages.
But are you just supposed to live mad every day? No.
No.
So within the first few moments of being walking into my house with all the sheriffs and my pastor here, like the very first thing I did was hug my pastor and we sat on the couch and I said to him, I go, I know the Bible says I have to forgive him. What do I do? And he's like, you don't. You give it to God. And so we sat there and we prayed real hard right then and there. And to this day, and this is the best thing God's done for me throughout all this, I have no hate for that man. I have nothing.
Yes.
And I'm
No.
free from that anger. I'm free from that. I have enough pain missing my son. I don't need to deal with more pain. And that's for
100%
God to
agree.
handle. Yep, that's for God to handle. How
That's
can
for God to
anyone
handle.
how could anyone come at you whole when they've not been through what you've gone through or know your story well enough? Like some people say stuff to me on social media that I'm like, did you even read the story? Do you even know? And you know what I react to all the mean comments? Do you know what I do? A block. Don't even
Yeah.
say anything back.
I do block them, yes. And so, and I have learned to like, you can like edit so that they can't like use cuss words or use his
You
name
can't.
or anything like that. You can block those things so that they don't come through.
Oh,
Yeah.
you guys are
So,
teaching me so much today.
so I learned that, and I learned that from a family member that that has social media for his business, and it has helped so much because I don't want to read all that hatred.
Yeah.
So
So, what are some things that you and I could tell Whitney right now? Do you remember like what you most? I know it's foggy. Those first few weeks are just a blur, but I know I lean on my faith and my family and friends.
yeah,
And
things that I would help say to Whitney right now. So Whitney, if you're watching, I would say give yourself grace.
yes,
Always grace.
summer it is.
Give yourself grace. The next one I would say is surround yourself with people that truly love you, family or friends, church family, people that are going to be there for you, not just in the next few days, weeks, or months, but in the years moving forward, because this is a journey that you're going to have to that you're going to have to deal with the rest of your life, unfortunately. But you can get through it because Brandi and I are walking testimonies that you can move through this grief and you can come out on the other side and take what was meant for evil, Whitney, and turn it to good.
to do good with it. That's the only, like, that was the ultimate evil act, what Brock, or not Brock, but Travis did.
Travis.
And take that ultimate evil act and turn it around. Because trust you me, every time I give a speech or I write something or a, a bill is introduced to change everything, it just puts chills all over me. I'm like, yes, we're doing good with our grief, you know?
Yes. And you know that our children are all in heaven and they're all playing and they're so proud of us for doing
Yeah.
what we're doing here on this earth and making change.
And we're already with them. They have our love. My pastor tells me all the time that my hugs are with him. I mean, I, things like I prayed really hard one time because I sat there thinking, okay, I want to do all this change, but why am I doing it on my own? Why don't I ask that guy? And I prayed really hard one day, and within 2 days, I got a call friend in Washington, D.C., talking to senators. The news reached back out to me. Like, it just,
Yeah.
it's use, just
Use your
use the
resources.
gifts. Yes, use the gifts that God is giving you, and He's going to be there throughout your journey because He has with me a lot. And I thank God every day for that.
Every day. That is
Yep.
the only reason that I am still standing is because
Oh,
of God's grace and
Yep.
because of his mercy every single day. And I don't think that you will truly understand your faith in God until your faith is truly shaken and you only stand on his cornerstone, on his holy rock. That's the only way that you can truly understand it, that if your faith was truly shaken. I truly believe that. I was talking with a friend the other day, and the amount of faith that I have and had before Alec and Lydia passed um, was so strong. And I believe that if this would have been 8 years ago, 9 years ago, did I have faith in God? Yes. But was my faith as strong as it was before they passed away? And did I truly have a relationship with God? Not just religion, but a relationship. And that is truly what has helped me through is the relationship with
Yes.
God, knowing that he is with me, not religion, not the man-made rules.
Yeah.
So
That's what I asked my pastor. Like, was I not a good enough Christian? Was I not following God enough? Did I not have a good enough relationship with him? And he goes, absolutely, that is not it. He said that my faith, and I do believe this, put me in this marriage, in this home, with this community, my church, and everyone around for when this did happen. I had everyone that I needed to support me. And they're amazing.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. There is no way on God's green earth that I can ever repay the people that helped me during those first few days. The
Yep.
amount of people and the pastors in Arizona, and I don't live in Arizona anymore, but I still keep in contact with them. And my church family in Arizona, shout out to Radiant Church in Surprise, Arizona. The amount of support that they showed me, the amount of
Yes.
help over and above. I had pastors going into Brock's apartment and getting clothing from the kids and stuff that I needed to ship back to me in Michigan. They had to go into this crime scene that was not cleaned up because they do not clean up crime scenes and go and
They
get
did not.
Alec's trail life shirt, Lydia's blankets,
Like,
documentation that I needed, all of this stuff. There's no way that I possibly can repay the things that my pastors and my church family did for me. There's no possible way that I could ever repay them.
Sorry, my dog.
You're fine.
Shout out to my church, Cornerstone in Caledonia, and my pastor Ken Nash. I feel, because I text him all the time now, and I feel like I have a direct line to the big guy because of him. But they've been amazing and sticking close to your church and your faith, and get a counselor. I don't know what I would have done. Like,
Go to
it's been the
therapy.
best.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I know. I'm going on almost 11 months since Rowan passed, and I go every week still because
Yes.
I need to.
Yeah, it's super important, and stuff that I don't even know that I need to talk about comes out in therapy, and I'm like, I don't even know that I needed to talk about that, but I did, and yeah,
Like some
yeah,
things that are happening and doing that I'm like confused about. It helps me with that. And I think the hardest thing, and hope it's the same for you, um, just giving myself grace because it's been so difficult. It's so hard because there's days I can't do anything. I can't move. I can't. And then
can't
there's days,
shower, you can't do anything, you can't eat, can't
yep,
sleep.
yep.
Yeah,
I became the toothbrush and the shower lady for a while, which I
yep.
still, it's just,
The other thing I can suggest to Whitney is reaching out. If you don't know Brandi and I, Whitney, reach out to us. We can help you.
we're here.
We can give you support. We're here for you, and we will do anything in our power to help you through this journey because we are on the same path as you, unfortunately.
There's, yeah, the unfortunate club that we're in, but it's a team of us and we're all here for you. Anything to help her.
What can other people who are listening or, who see these in video clips or however they get exposed to this conversation right now, how can people help you guys specifically and also help in raising awareness for, your children's cases and filicide as a whole?
Go to the Rowan Project, um, my nonprofit, and the awareness to filicide and changes of family court. My partner and I and my nonprofit are working on that right now. She's making the website, getting everything set up. So when we go to DC, it's all there. But there's also the Angel Cup that we created at our golf course. It's August 29th, and it's in memoriam of my son. So every hole has little QR codes that you can watch a video of Rowan playing on that hole. And then my golf community, my core girls here, they went out and it's probably like in September. So right after he passed, they made Rowan's Tee, which is right out in front of our house where he had his longest drive, and that'll be there forever. So there you can sign up for the Angel Cup. You can go to my website or just look on my social media. Um, Brandi Marie 26 on TikTok, and then Brandi Morey Polls on Facebook and on Instagram. Share it. Share his story. Share Hope's story. But while spotlight is on Filicide because the unfortunate thing that happened to Whitney, let's get this out there so the changes need to be made that Whitney's not going to be possible to do for quite some time because we all know there's that numbness that,
There's that numbness. She's not going to be able to.
yeah.
The fact that she even
Yep.
spoke to the media, just like you did, Brandi. I didn't speak to the media until I went on Like Mother, Like Murder. Like
Oh,
10 months
really?
in. 10 months in.
Oh, wow.
I was so numb. Like I couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please follow me at Hope in the Pain on all social medias. Please email me at hopeinthepain@gmail.com if you have any questions. Please come and listen to me speak in Springfield, Missouri on July 15th at the Assemblies of God headquarters. I would love any and all support. Please buy my book when it comes out in stores and on Amazon. I'm sure I will be back with Rachel and Heather on Like Mother, Like Murder to promote that book. And please just keep sharing any and all posts that we make, not just liking it, not just hearting it, but literally going
Share
and
it.
just clicking the share button, clicking
We
the favorite
appreciate it.
button. Please do everything that you can. Just clicking that little button helps spread the word so much and helps the algorithm push our videos out on social media.
And pray for us and Whitney and all the other mothers that are all going through this.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's the hardest thing a parent could ever go through. And it was always our biggest fear. And now it's our reality.
Yes. It's like I say in my speech, it's like a true crime podcast or Dateline episode, but it is my reality. My life was forever changed.
Yeah. Same.
I'll share about the book. I'll share about the Rowan Act. Everything will be in the show notes, and I'll start, putting as much out there on social media as well. I just wanted to tell both of you guys thank you for sharing all of that with everyone, but with me too. I'm trying not to cry. I'm fine. Just the trust
It's
that you
okay.
guys
It's
have.
okay not to be
I
fine.
know. I get such like certain days, but I really appreciate you guys trusting me to try to help you guys and raise
You've
more
been
awareness and
amazing.
bring this.
You've been
And so
amazing.
it means so much to me. I have this crazy like imposter syndrome, like I always have these moments of like, who am I? But I know my heart, I know how I want to help you guys, and I just really thank you guys and appreciate that. So
Well, we're
Thank you
bonding
too.
to you too.
yeah.
We love you.
We love
I
you.
love you guys. I love you guys. Thank you guys for listening. As you can tell, I definitely got in my feelings, which if you're an avid listener, you already know that about me. And if not, now you do. I truly am just in awe of these two amazing, beautiful women. I wish more than anything that I could just rewrite their story with a different ending. But because I can't do that, I just want to help in any way to raise awareness, to get their stories out there, to just be able to listen, any of it and all of it. I will have everything that we discussed in today's episode in the show notes down at the bottom of this episode. So wherever you guys are listening, you can scroll to the bottom and you can get the links to Brandi and Hope. You can get the information on the cases that Hope discussed, information on the Rowan Act, all of it. And you can also go to our Instagram page, which is like_mother_like_murder, and I will be posting stuff there as well. I will talk to you guys next week where we will be having a guest host take over the pod. So stay tuned for that. Take care of yourselves this week. Be sure to share this episode. Come see me in Boston in July. You guys, that's very soon. It's a month, 1 month away. And if you guys haven't yet, go leave a rating or review wherever you're listening. That's the best way to get others to find us and check us out. All right, talk to you next week. Okay, love you. Bye.